Hello and welcome to Always Elite. Today we're going to review Aew Dynamite from March 18th, 2020, which emanated from Jacksonville, Florida, instead of Rochester, New York. Now, the reason for that is because they needed to do it in an empty arena to continue to do Dynamite. Now, before we get into the actual review, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on what we're going to do next. Also, visit my merch shop. I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, let's get into the actual review. Now, I do have to say that this is one of the weirdest wrestling shows I've ever seen. There is no audience, nothing. But it was a very good show, nonetheless. Also, vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show. Well, it starts off with Cody in the ring saying that we need to all be together. You know, we need to stick together instead of being apart. He talks about the Elite as well being together and not being apart. Says Matt needs to get over Hangman Page. You know, his rage and his anger almost cost him. Omega needs to be the old Kenny Omega that Cody used to remember. And Hangman needs to be the old Adam Page. Instead of being this drunk guy all the time, thinking he's the, he's the man. Just needs to be Page. Kenny says that he's in. Matt says Nick can't be here or at Blood and Guts, but it's going to have to be all four of them versus the Inner Circle. It's Hangman on the ramp, and he agrees. He tips his glass and says, "Okay, I'm in." Then we get a recap of how the Dark Triangle came together. Then it was the Best Friends, Trent and Chuck, versus the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. Best Friends isolate Phoenix for the good first portion of the match. It was very good tag team wrestling by Best Friends. Classic tag team. Pentagon makes a blind tag and takes over. On the outside, since there are no fans, there is the heel faction on one side and the faces on the other, the tag teams and certain individuals. You know, we had on this side we had MJF and Shawn Spears taking bets on all the matches. It's hilarious. You need to see this. And on the other side we had SCU and a couple other QT Marshall and a few others on their side. Also, Jake and new signee Lance Archer were in the audience on the heel side. And then Orange Cassidy's on commentary, doesn't say a word. He actually falls asleep during the match. It's hilarious. That's Orange being Orange. In the end, it was a low blow by Pentagon and then zero fear factor for the win. That just goes to show how good the Lucha Brothers are. I mean, even with the low blow, you know, they are that good, though. Next is a Fatal 4-Way women's match. For reasons, I don't understand why this is taking place, but it's Penelope Ford versus Riho versus Hikaru Shida versus Chris Statlander. Immediately, Kip Sabian gets involved in the match, but gets taken out by Shida and Statlander. This plays a factor in the later. After that, each has their moment to shine in the sun. Penelope Ford would only jump in when one of her opponents were down or weakened. In the end, it was Hikaru Shida who pulled out a running knee strike to Ford and gets the pin for the win. Colt Cabana is talking to just on the side, I guess, and he gets into it with Kip Sabian. I don't recall what they said, but it must have been enough for Kip Sabian to come over and challenge Colt Cabana, who again is another new signee. Next up, it was the Butcher and the Blade versus Jurassic Express. It was a very good tag team match from both sides. It was actually very good. The Butcher and the Blade beat up the Jungle Boy for a very long time in this match. I'd probably say 7, 8, 9 minutes, maybe even longer. Luchasaurus finally gets the tag and cleans house. Luchasaurus with an assisted cutter and a pin for the win. So Jurassic Express wins that match. Now here comes a good part of the whole show. Next, the Dark Order comes out to reveal the Exalted One. After Evil Uno is done talking, Christopher Daniels confronts Uno and says there is no Exalted One. He's lying. Well, then the Tron goes on and someone is talking in the background and they show a shadow and the shadow gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And underneath the hood, he lifts it up. Everybody's expecting Matt Hardy. Because even through this, it looks like a coat that Matt Hardy would wear. It may have been one of Matt Hardy's coats. Who knows? But instead, it was Brody Lee. And after Brody gets done talking on Tron, the lights go out and then they come back on. And Brody Lee is standing behind Christopher Daniels and he kicks the crap out of him. He also uses the same finisher that he used in WWE, which was the ripcord spinning lariat. Now, if you don't know who Brody Lee is, he was Luke Harper in WWE, so that should explain a lot. Of course, he pretty much looks the same, except he actually has a nicer beard. It's not all scruffy, kind of like mine. It's not like this. It's actually neat and organized. Then after that, Lance and Jake are on the outside talking, I guess, to Tony Schiavone about Cody, saying that Cody has been ignoring them, and they're coming for Cody. They're tired of being ignored. They call Cody Caesar for reasons. I don't know. Jake's used that before, I guess last week or the week before. Now let me say this though. They throughout Dynamite here, they were kept talking about the next Dynamite. Now we don't even know if there's going to be one next week, which would be the Blood and Guts Dynamite. So if it's not next week, when is it? Nobody knows. So let's hold out hope that we can get that done next week. Because who knows when they're going to be back on the air if that doesn't take place. Now, after that, it goes to a vignette of Lance Archer's Murder Hawk Mansion. I don't know what the hell that is. I guess it's just an estate that he has. And there's a wrestling ring in the back with a bunch of either indie wrestlers or actors or something. And he dares any of them to get into the ring. Now, he beats them all up, obviously. They don't call him the Murder Hawk for nothing. So then, after that, we get the main event. It's the Inner Circle versus the Elite, where the winner gets the man advantage at Blood and Guts. Now, if you don't know what the Blood and Guts match is, it's basically... I can't remember now. It's the old WCW pay-per-view War Games. It slipped my mind. Brain fart. It was back and forth early. Hangman, after tagging in, still jaw-jacking with Matt Jackson about him not liking or whatever the situation is here. Coming out of the break, it's Jake Hager in a stalling suplex on Cody. After about 10 minutes, Cody hits a crossroads but still can't make a tag. In the end, after Hangman Page is taken out, Santana rolls up Matt Jackson for the win, so the Inner Circle get the man advantage at Blood and Guts. Now after that, Jericho and all the Inner Circle get on the ramp and start talking about how they dominate All Elite Wrestling They dominated the Elite, and they're going to dominate Blood and Guts. And then all of a sudden, as Jericho's talking, there's a sound. Happens to be a drone that comes down. We all know what that means. It's Vanguard 1. It lands. They are confused. And then it points up into the crowd, and a spotlight hits Matt Hardy, and he's yelling delete. So, Matt Hardy to AEW confirmed. Wonderful. Now, that's all there was to Dynamite. Join me again in a few days for an unboxing, because I almost forgot about last month's box already. It's been sitting there now. My next one's coming already. So we'll be getting to that in a couple days. Till then, always be elite.
Never look back, no, never say die. Always attack with the war.